Blair Onyx. Hello, welcome. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
We are super duper, absolutely thrilled to have you. We were having a nice little chat before we recorded, you was interviewing us, which was pretty cool.
Yes, I had the questions.
Yeah, it's our turn now, so be ready. You've got a couple of British idiots coming at you now. Look at his little face. So obviously, I love the accent. So I was doing a bit of research. You grew up in Russia.
Yes, I lived there for 6 years.
So how did you get into wrestling over there? I mean, what wrestling was available in Russia? Was it
There
WWE?
wasn't a whole lot. My brother watched. Yeah, he watched WWE growing up. So, I started watching wrestling with my brother. And when we moved over to America, it was just a lot easier to watch wrestling. And I don't know, I just fell in love with it.
Yeah, that's something I found interesting. I spoke to a fellow Russian, Masha Slamovich, earlier this year, and she was saying there's no wrestling really in Russia apart from WWE on TV. There's like 2 companies in the whole country that do wrestling. That's such a weird concept, because in the UK and in America we've got promotions everywhere, and then there's only 2 companies in the whole of Russia, and Russia's massive.
Do you ever go down like a wormhole of like wrestling on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
Like matches that are just really bad, that are just really fun to watch. Yes, I did that one time with Russian wrestling, and I found one match, I forgot what it's called, but it was honestly one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen.
If you find it, send it to us.
Okay. I think I just looked up like Russian pro wrestling because I wanted to see just like, it's where I'm from, like it's my country. I was like, let's see how we do it in Russia. And then I was like, oh, that's how we do it in Russia.
Apparently, I think it's PWF or something in Russia. I think they're meant to be quite good, and they do get names from the US and Europe going in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a girl I follow on Twitter. She's always tweeting about it. She does the ring announcing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And from what she's posted, it's a really professional, well-run promotion. And they're running it like just any other independent. And they're actually putting out the money to bring in people from America and the UK and everything. So hopefully that's the start of some kind of Russian wrestling thing. So maybe we can get there in the future.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So obviously you got into wrestling, you fell in love with wrestling, you moved to America, and we've spoken to a few people from the Black and Brave Academy. How did it come about for you? How did you discover Black and Brave, and what was it like?
I was a big Seth Rollins fan, watching growing up. And so I had it written down in my notes that was like my dream school. Like that's the school that I wanted to go to. And I remember one time I applied there and they accepted me, but I was just so nervous and scared. I was like, I'm not ready. So I just like rejected my application. And honestly, like going into wrestling was really like kind of like a chance thing, because a year after that, I remember I was going to a party and I saw on Twitter that one of the spots in Black and Brave opened up. Mm-hmm. And I saw the tweet and it was last minute and the school costs around like $3,500. So I had 2 months to make that money. Yeah. So I remember I was bawling my eyes out. I called my friend and I was like, I have to do this. I have to apply to this school. And she's like, okay, why are you like sobbing on the phone right now? But it was honestly such an emotional moment to even like sign up for wrestling, because it's something that I wanted to do for so long. Like I was watching it since I was 6. So for me, I rejected my application in the first place because I didn't feel like I was ready. So to like force myself and to say like, okay, it doesn't matter if you're not ready, like you're gonna do this no matter what. And that's how I became a wrestler, because I just forced myself to do it.
That's awesome though. And I mean, what a first place to start training, Black and Brave, training with two of the best. I mean, Marek Brave is someone we've had the pleasure of speaking to, and he's such a knowledgeable guy. He's so underrated in wrestling. He's the amount of people he's trained, you know, he's teamed with Seth in the past. They grew up together on the independent. Seth, obviously, you don't need to say what he's done. Everybody, he's a household name. So to go into training with two of those greats in wrestling, what was that like for you on your first day? When you walked in, was you nervous?
Oh my gosh, the nerves on my first day, because my first day, well, honestly, my first week of wrestling school was my finals week at college in a different state. So I had to drive back and forth. First of all, like the first day was very tough for me, and it was honestly very surreal to walk in and train with like the best in the world. And for me, I honestly never did anything athletic besides working out a little bit at the gym before I did this. So I was way in over my head going into this program, but I did it. And I don't know, it's just, I'm honestly still surprised that I was able to graduate. Now that I've been wrestling for 2 years, I'm still surprised, but it was the best training that I could have gotten. They taught me so much about like not only how to put together a match and like moves, but just like understanding why we're doing the things that we're doing and the overall bigger picture of creating a match. And I feel like that information, and still now to this day, when I have a question, I will randomly just like message one of the coaches and I'm like, hey, so what about this? And so having like an opportunity to not only have like the resources to continuously ask questions as I'm progressing in my wrestling career, I don't know, it's just like there's no value that I can put to that.
That's so cool as well, having that resource, like as an independent wrestler, just knowing that at any point you can message your coaches and say, how does this sound? Or do you have an idea for this? That's such I mean, I'd hope that a lot of independent wrestlers can do that with their former trainers, but knowing that you can with two of the best trainers in the entire world, like, Seth Rollins and Marek Brave, it has to be one of if not the best training school in North America. And that's not just hyperbole, that's true. Look at the people who have come from the Black and Brave Academy. Even recently, like you've got yourself, you've got Ben Carter, Chase Holiday, Travis Titan. All of you are doing great things right now. And
they're amazing. Just
even during the pandemic, you're all still finding work and doing things. It's credit to how good that place is and how good they've set you up for like life after Black and Brave.
Yeah. And it's awesome for also to like go back and see like new classes come in and like be able to learn with them, because for every time that I went back to training, I leave learning something new. And I think, that's so invaluable.
So even when you come back, you're still learning something different that you didn't know before.
Yeah, of course. Like I want to learn forever. I want to, I don't know, be the best that I can be as a performer, because I don't know, my favorite thing about wrestling is improving. And I started off, it was so difficult for me to even like start wrestling. So to see that I have gotten even to the level that I'm at now, I'm just like, whoa, it's crazy to me. But I want to be better and I want to get better. And like, that's kind of like all that I'm really focusing on now, because I can't wrestle all the time. So I ask myself, like, what can I do to improve my game? If that makes sense.
It does. I mean, and just going back as well a bit, I mean, obviously the look that you have, the character, it's an amazing look.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who were some of the inspirations? Because I'm going to be honest, I could see you fitting perfectly coming down to the ring with an Aleister Black, someone like that.
I was obsessed with the way that he made his entrance, how he just like the candles, all of it. I was like, wow. I remember when I first started my wrestling career, I tried to walk like him to the ring, and someone told me, they were like, why are you walking like that? Like, you're walking, I think I was supposed to play like the good guy, and I was like the bad, I forgot. It was one of those. And I was like, yeah, I just really want to look like Aleister Black. And they're like, well, you're not.
You tried.
Yeah, definitely someone that I look up to. And like, I don't know, I feel like it's pretty obvious that I look up to Bray Wyatt. Of course,
Yeah.
I do like the back bend, but I think he's awesome. Yeah. Everything that he's doing with the Fiend, I think, is awesome.
Yeah, so has it always been the darker gimmicks which you've been interested in?
Yes, I always knew that I wanted to play like a darker character, but I didn't know what. So I didn't start off wrestling as the Spider. I just started off as someone that wears like, I don't know, like I had blonde hair and I had no character pretty much. So over time, it just kind of naturally came together. The Spider kind of came from AJ Lee and like the Love Bites, and I'm a huge fan of hers. And I think that's where the Spider came from. But I kind of just put things from different people that I don't know I'm a fan of, and kind of tried to create my own.
Was you a fan of Victoria in WWE and TNA?
Yes, I was. Well, I feel like because I was a little kid when I watched Victoria, I was like, oh no, she's a bad guy. But like now that like looking back, it's amazing. And I actually got an opportunity to have her as my referee in one of my matches.
That's awesome.
That was insane.
So cool. Victoria referee.
Like? I mean, yeah, what was that like? I mean, you must have learned a lot from her being around there.
Oh my gosh, yes. It was amazing to have her just be there and just learn from her. And I was speechless. Like I didn't know what to say at that point. I feel like sometimes in wrestling, I go into dream mode where I don't understand that what's happening is reality. And that was one of those moments.
It's understandable though. I think we mentioned it before we started recording. These are people that we've watched growing up, and then when you actually have your own personal interaction with them, your own memory with that person, it's a bit surreal, isn't it?
Yeah, like I was telling you before, whenever I did extra work for AEW or WWE, I would just walk around and I'm like, all right, act cool, like this is fine, But again, like I was such a huge fan growing up, so it's sometimes difficult for me to like understand and get out of dream world.
Yeah,
I totally get that. I mean, we went to the fest, we went to All In, and we went to Starcast, and it was the same with us. I mean, I got put in the Cobra Club by Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, I will never, the 8-year-old Jamie was just in dreamland. So I totally get where you're coming from. It's like, to this day, I mean, I'm 36 years old, and it's still the greatest thing that's ever happened to me was Sergeant Slaughter putting me in a Cobra Clutch. And I totally with you on that one. But you say you was drawn to the darker side as well. I'm presuming you was an Undertaker fan as well then.
I was oh my gosh, my brother used to like turn off all the lights in our house and play the Undertaker's theme, and he would go like boom, and I would be traumatized. So of course I'm an Undertaker's fan, but I'm still a little bit traumatized from my childhood.
So speaking of the darker characters, you're also friends with Elena Black, who she's got a pretty dark gimmick going on too, with the coffin and everything. I think she's great. The first time I got to see Elena wrestle was at a Warrior Wrestling show on Fight TV. And as soon as she came out, I was like, she's got something about her. She's got a character. She's got that look about her. Really good. And obviously, you two, your styles are quite dark. Was it that which brought you together, or did you know each other beforehand?
So me and Yelena, we had our like 10th match like ever together.
Right.
So we met really, really early on in our wrestling careers, and we just kind of got to like live this dream together, I guess. But I honestly have felt like I've known her for my entire life. Like we have matching tattoos, which means we're committed for life. But, well, I hope. But I don't know. I think she's just an absolute superstar. Like I just to wake up and like see her like do her thing. I'm just amazed. Like every single day I'm like, you go, you got this.
So nice. I
Yeah.
think that's the nicest thing we've ever heard on the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Like,
nice that you.
About like when Top Flight got signed to AEW,
Yeah.
I just woke up and I was like, all right, this is good. Like you go, like this is great. Like it was like waking up to a brighter morning.
Oh.
And it's just so weird. The weirdest thing to me about wrestling is that I grew up and I watched like these larger than life human beings, like their thing, and I dreamed of that. And now I'm in this period of time where I'm starting to see my close friends become those that I like once saw as like, you know.
Absolutely. And the thing is,
so strange.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you're still only young, you're only 22, so you're still very early in your career.
Yeah,
right?
I'm 23.
Oh, 23, right. You're still very young. We're what, 31 and 36?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
we're old men.
We're old men. We're old men. Yeah. All right.
You're still young in your career. You've still got plenty of time that could be you, like someday soon. That larger than life superstar, that
I
must
can't think that way.
There's a very good chance that could be you. And with a lot of these people that you mentioned, they're getting opportunities on like AEW Dark, for example. And AEW Dark's doing some amazing work for the independents in America. I mean, during the pandemic, it's given each show's got like 16 matches. It's like a 3-hour show, and they're giving these independent wrestlers a platform to get exposure for themselves. It's amazing. Is that something you've got your eyes set on in the immediate future then?
Immediate future? Well, for me, I think that is such a huge opportunity. And I would just want to feel like the most ready that I can be. So if they contacted me tomorrow, I'm not going to say I'm going to say no, but I want to be like the most ready that I can be.
Like with your training, when you initially said I'll wait until I'm ready to go to training. With this, you want to make sure you're absolutely ready to go.
Yeah, maybe I just gotta force myself to just, go for it.
Yes.
I don't know. It's especially right now with a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's just difficult with training. I have one show coming up at Mission Pro Wrestling.
Awesome.
So that's like my one show, but I'm really trying to stay limited on the amount of shows I do, just realistically with how safe you can be with like taking tests. But holy crap. What was the question?
I don't know if there was one.
I just lost the train of thought. I'm so sorry.
AEW Dark something you'd want to do, but obviously you said like you want to make sure you're ready. With the pandemic, you haven't been able to get in the ring as much, I imagine. So
yeah, I can't even train right now. Like I'm going like a little bit insane up here, but
that must suck.
The thing that I miss the most is training. So at the end of the day, I still feel very confident in my abilities as a performer. And given the opportunity, I know I would do my best. And I believe that my best is good. I'm sorry.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm sure Callum will agree with me as well. I mean, everything about you, the look, everything about you screams TV to me.
Yeah.
So,
thank
yeah, I mean,
this goes back to, well, literally when we saw you at the Collective, me and Jamie both said we should get her on for an interview. Let's see if we can reach out. And it's cool that we've been able to set this up because we were fans from the minute we first saw you. So you've definitely got something about you which, it's TV ready because we saw you on TV and now we're speaking to you. So,
and it's lovely as well because you're an absolute sweetheart. Yeah, I'm terrified of spiders. So I mean, it's lovely. Yeah. You're the nicest spider I've ever spoken to.
Do you like spiders, or are you scared of spiders? I don't want to break the character or anything. Do you like spiders?
I like spiders.
Okay, good.
I
good.
do like spiders. I think they're
Right.
very beautiful creatures, but I do keep my distance.
Because that would have broken the fourth wall for me a bit if you said no, I don't like spiders.
I love spiders. I think I got tagged in a tweet one time and it was like this blue tarantula and I was just like, wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, you know what I really like? Those cute little jumping spiders with the big eyes. I can't remember what they're called. They're only like the size of a penny, but they've
If
got
a spider jumped at me, I don't know how I would feel about that, to be honest.
They're so cute. I don't think I'd mind if it did. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, right? About a week ago, I came home from work. I went into the bathroom. There was a spider on the wall. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. It was the size of a plate. I didn't kill it. I freed it into the world.
Okay.
Oh, I would never ever kill them. I'm terrified, but I would never ever do that. But it was that big. I wouldn't even let my cat go near it because I didn't fancy my cat's chances. It was that. I mean, it was
the size of a plate.
It was huge. It was ginormous. Not maybe like a small
like this
plate.
big, like that.
Well, all right, maybe the size of a burger. But it was huge.
Burger?
But this spider was on steroids. Put it like that. It was massive. I've never seen a spider so big in my life. Yeah, I could have done with you there. You're doing perfect. There's something I want to talk to you about as well. Because obviously you've worked in Chicago a bit. Freelance, the Halloween Royal Rumble. Did I rewrite that you was Brock Lesnar in this Royal Rumble, or am I?
I was like a cute Brock Lesnar. That was the plan. Yeah, it was honestly one of the funnest things that I've done in my wrestling career.
I'm unaware of this. What's a cute Brock Lesnar?
It's like I dressed up, like, I had a very nice like Brock Lesnar t-shirt and like, I don't know, I just looked cute. So I was like, I'm a cute Brock Lesnar.
Right, I'm adding this to a list. Is it online somewhere? Because I want to see what this is.
I think so. Maybe. If Freelance uploaded it.
I'm going to add to my list for later.
I know Wrestling with Unicorns had a clip of it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's online. I'm going to watch that later.
So, how did that come about then? How did you become cute Brock Lesnar?
Because, okay, I started calling myself Brock Onyx because I started weight training a lot. And I was like, yeah, I'm Brock Onyx, like as a joke. And so I just kept saying it over and over for a few months. And then here came this battle royal. And I was like, I want to be in this. Who should I be? And I was like, Brock Onyx. And I just dressed up as Brock Lesnar. And it was that.
I love that.
What's it like competing in that kind of match then compared to just a normal match?
It's very, very different because in just like a singles one-on-one match, I'm thinking about many more factors and you're telling a different type of story versus when you are in like a Royal Rumble type match or a battle, not so much a battle royal. Battle royals are a little different, but what you want is like something that'll make you stand out in the short time frame that you do have. So for me, I just kind of like made something that I thought was funny and maybe the crowd would think it was funny too. Like that's the kind of ways like I make up ideas for wrestling. I'm like, ooh, this is cool. Let me try this. Let's see if the crowd reacts to this in any certain way. And if they do, I'm like, okay, I'll keep it.
Honestly, we can't wait until this pandemic is over in a year or whatever, because we're coming straight back to the States to watch wrestling because we definitely been back already if it wasn't for the pandemic. We love Chicago. We love the wrestling scene there. So many good promotions, but there's so many good promotions in America right now. I feel like there's been a resurgence of American independence, like GCW, Warrior, Synergy, freelance, Black Label, so many good places to work right now. I mean,
Great.
What's it like for you as a talent, having all of these places that you can choose from to work? I mean, it's almost like you're spoiled for choice at times, because going back maybe 5 years, there was good independence, but there wasn't as many as there are now. There seems to be like one in every city in America, which is good.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of because there were so many companies, I kind of wanted to make a game plan of how I wanted to like work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for me, I looked at the companies that were on IWTV and I was like, okay, like this is such a great streaming platform. This is going to give me so much exposure. Let me go try to work for these companies, because I feel like also to keep in mind, sometimes different companies want different things. So I would try to, especially now during the pandemic, work for companies that are safer and that set a very good standard with how they treat like COVID and regulations, stuff like that. But to have so many options, it's a dream. Like you have so many places where you can go and work one day. So for me, I just want to make sure that my craft is at the level that I want it to be at, and for me to perform at the level that I want to be at.
That's really good though. Like, I'm sure a lot of people just say, I want to work wherever I can, whenever I can. With you actually want to be at your best, and you've got a game plan for the places you want to work. And it's reasons like that, which I'm sure one day you'll be on our TV, like you've got a very good head about you. You know what you're doing. You've got a game plan, and you sound determined. So I'm sure you're going to do it. That's usually how it works. Is there any company in particular that you haven't worked for yet that you're just absolutely dying to work for?
I worked for them one time in like a Royal Rumble style match, but I really, really want to get, one of my biggest goals in wrestling is to get a singles match on Black Label Pro.
Right.
That would be crazy, but that's something that I'm working towards, definitely.
It's such a good promotion. I think that's when we can come back, that's one company we're going to hit up, definitely. But this people are always raving about Black Label. Such a good place to be as a fan and a wrestler. So I'm guessing is that number one for you next year? Is that what you're going to try and tick off?
Yes, I really would like to work for that company.
Yeah, I understand that. I remember when I first came across them, it was the name itself drew me in, because I'm very much into I don't know, it had almost like an underground, like a rock and roll kind of feel to it. I don't know if that's just me, but I was like, Black Label Pro, that sounds like my kind of thing. So we'll be going across there to see it when we can get back across. I don't doubt for a second you'll be on the card, because they'd be stupid not to have you on the card.
Thank you.
So, like I said, we've had a chance to speak to people as well from these companies, like freelance, and we've been talking to another company, Zelo. I believe you've worked there as well. Am I right?
Oh, Zelo Pro.
Yeah. Zelo. Yeah. What was that like? Because they're another company that have just suddenly sort of come up from nowhere, really. In the UK, especially, we've just suddenly started hearing about them.
Yeah, they've been around.
Hearing
about them, haven't we? Like they've been around a few years. I found out, but we've only just started hearing about them fairly recently. But that's somewhere you've worked, and they're making a pretty good name for themselves right now. What's that experience been like?
I've always found them to be super professional, and I feel like whenever I work there, everything that I do creatively is really encouraged, and it's really encouraged to stand out and be the character that you want to be. So I feel very grateful to have that company to work for, because I can try out new things and I can have like an environment where I'm not scared to be myself. So I feel like Zelo has also done a very good job during this pandemic, because when like government regulations change, they cancel their shows. They do their best to make sure that every single fan is safe. So I feel very fortunate to work for a company that really has those guidelines. And speaking of those guidelines, also, I feel like First Wrestling is really, really on top of their game regarding that. I worked for them one time during this pandemic, and they had these like panels at like the merch tables between you and the fans, and I haven't seen that before. So that was really like eye-opening.
No, that's good. Obviously, the times we're living in at the minute, it's safety comes first. It's a scary world, but you mentioned obviously like Zello. I'm saying I'm going to go American now. Zello, okay? Zello. You mentioned like the creative freedom. Is that something that's important to you then? Because we've spoken to a few people that are ex WWE, and they've said that's one thing that they didn't get, which they wanted the most. So is that important to you, that creative freedom?
Yeah, I would say that it is, because the reason that I fell in love with wrestling is characters. And for me, characters are like one of the best things going in wrestling, especially right now, I feel like. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of inspiring like little girls and boys to feel that they can be whatever they think of, you know?
That's I was want to ask as well on that same subject. When I was doing a bit of research and finding some previous interviews you'd mentioned that one of your dream opponents was R-Truth. And is that because he's such a good character? Because to me, he's one of the best in WWE right now.
Oh yeah, like I've always just been a huge fan, because just whatever he does, I'm just drawn to it. I'm like, this is hilarious. So of course that's one of my dream opponents.
I mean, what is he now? A 58-time 24/7 champion?
I don't know the exact number, but
it's something like that. But the guy can be given anything and he makes it into gold. Like I don't think he's so underrated. And how is he 48? I mean, he looks about 30. I look older than that, Truth. But yeah, he's such a good talent. And I think the other person go on.
Don't forget as well, sorry, R-Truth, you say about the comedy, but that guy's a former NWA World Champion as well. So, I mean, he can do everything. So, hey, I'll pay to see you against R-Truth. That'd be incredible. You know, you could, it'd be terrified of you, and it'd sell it so well. It'd be perfect. It'd be brilliant. I'm sorry, Cal, was you going to say something else? I apologise.
The other person on that list was Chris Statlander, and I think that would be an awesome match. Yourself versus Chris Statlander. I think your styles would go really well together as a team or as opponents. Whenever
I see her, I'm in dream world.
She's incredible, I can't wait for her to come back to AEW. I think she's out injured at the moment, but she's such a good talent. So that's one of your dream matches then, Chris Statlander?
Of course, definitely.
Now, obviously, before we start wrapping up and letting you get on with your day, I did know somebody who I've been in the ring with, because for me, I think Impact Wrestling's have got one of the best female divisions around at the moment. You have been in the ring with Taya Valkyrie. What was that like?
It was an amazing experience. Just like to be in her presence, I was like, okay, act cool, it's fine. But in the match, I learned so much from her in regards to just how to react to each other in a match, and working with different types of characters. To work with different types of characters. Yeah, it was definitely an awesome experience.
Yeah, because I think she's someone who I think she's underrated. I don't think she gets the credit she deserves. You hear a lot of other female wrestlers being, mentioned, rightfully so, but I think she's one of the best around. So, I mean, that must have been a great learning experience to be in the ring with someone like that.
Yeah, I was in the ring with like her and Kiera Hogan, and from both of them, I just learned like so much, and just to have opponents that have wrestled on like such grand stages and learned, like, I'm sure there's things about wrestling that I don't even know that I don't know, because I haven't reached that level yet. And there's things that they, in a way, like when you wrestle someone, I feel like you both go through this experience together, and it's like a dance. So you get to dance with people who have danced with other people, and you learn from it. Does that make sense?
A really good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, before we let you go, two questions. Well, two-parter. You and Elena Black have matching tattoos. What are they?
It's each other's like first name initial in little urns.
That's
wow.
On our ankles. Yeah.
I love that. And the second part isn't actually a question to you. It's Callum, when are we going to get matching tattoos?
Well, Jamie, I got a matching portal tattoo with one of my old best friends, and now I don't talk to him anymore. We hate each other. So, so I'm not a success story for matching tattoos.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, my end of it looks great. He got the end of it that looks really crap. I like my end, but
there you go.
But that's the main thing.
All right then. So we're not getting matching tattoos, are we?
No, because we'll end up falling out.
It's a commitment.
Fair enough. Well, it's a lovely story, by the way. I love what you and Elena have got. That's actually really cool. Especially the little air.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Is that I want to say, is that a nod to Paul Bearer, or is that just something you both like?
So we both knew that we had like darker characters, and so at this company called STW Pro, they're great to check out. Yeah. They actually have a Patreon that's new now. My coach, Merrick Brave, he actually kind of named us the Sisters of Destruction as a joke because we were kind of like joking about that being our name. And then on that show, they announced us as the Sisters of Destruction. And then from there on, it was just SOD, and it worked.
The collective was it the collective when you came out as the Sisters of Destruction? Yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's such a good name. Like, that is genius. Is that something you're going to stick with?
For now, yes. We don't have like any other names in brainstorm land, but there's a group called the Brothers of Funstruction in Chicago. So I hope they're not mad at us for saying we're the Sisters of Destruction. Or we could have a match.
You could have a match. Yeah. Winner gets the rights to the name. Yeah.
Well, I personally, I think Sisters of Destruction sounds a lot better. I genuinely think it's just such a great name, and it suits you and Elena down to the ground. It's perfect.
Thank you.
Before we let you go, please, any social medias you want to plug, merchandise, anything coming up, any shows?
Mission Pro Wrestling in Texas is coming up. It's going to be me versus Rachel Rose. That will be a great show to check out. I have a Patreon as well. It's called the Spider Family Patreon. We have a lot of fun there. I post like pictures of my dogs and a lot of like photo shoots, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I just made a pro wrestling tee store, so there's that.
Do you know what the link is for the store?
It's just prowrestlingtees.com/Blair Onyx, I believe. Yeah, pretty simple.
I'm sure Callum is very technologically gifted that he can put that on the screen, can't you, Callum?
I can indeed.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, he's a computer whiz. Yeah, he's a superstar of all that stuff. I can't turn a computer on. He's brilliant. He does it all. So.
Bless you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said.
Well, it's the only nice thing I'm going to say as well. So, Blair, it has been an absolute pleasure. I can't thank you enough. It's been fascinating. I think
it has been a really good chat. Yeah, I've enjoyed that a lot.
Thank you.
Fun interviews we've done. It was such a fascinating talk. And please come back on in the future. We'd love to have you back on.
Yeah, that would be great. I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys for making this like a comfortable experience for me. This was a lot of fun for me too.
I'm glad you think it was comfortable for a start. That's good.
Yeah.
I just want to say, your background is really cool. I love that background.
Yeah, that is cool. But I told you, it was just a couple of British goofballs, and it was fun. It was really fun. But it's been an absolute pleasure. Blair Onyx, we are Ringsiders. We'll see you soon.